What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Cine James Movie Talk. I am your host, Mr. Cine James himself, and today I am doing my non-spoiler review on the new horror movie, Obsession. But before we get into that, as always, you know what to do. If you like the show, you like the content, you're listening to me on YouTube, hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you're listening to me on Spotify, tap that bell, tap that follow, show me some love, and as always, I greatly appreciate all of your support. Before I get into my non-spoiler review, as always, again, let's run through some of the info on this movie. I'm also kind of doing this one out of sequence. I did my non-spoiler review on Passenger, which just came out on the 22nd. This one, I'm kind of behind on this one. This one came out on a week before, on May 15th. This had a budget between $750,000 to $1 million, and its current box office is around $38 million. This movie was directed by, I believe I'm saying it right, Curry Barker. Not really familiar. I think he's new to the scene. I'm not really familiar with any of his work. But with all of that out of the way, let's get into my non-spoiler thoughts on Obsession. So as I just mentioned, I reviewed Passenger. I seen Passenger first before I seen Obsession. And currently right now, they are the current two new horror movie releases out. And between the two, as I talked about in my non-spoiler review for Passenger, I thought that movie, there wasn't really anything in that movie that was frightening or terrifying. I was really bored with that movie. However, watching Obsession, I was not bored with this movie. I actually had a good time watching this movie. And I liked the story of Obsession, which the story of Obsession basically is we follow our character Bear, who has a thing for our other main character, Nikki, and he makes a wish for her to fall in love with him. And that wish gets granted. However, that wish leads into her becoming, well, as the title of the movie says, obsessed with him, which leads down a dark and I guess you could say deadly path. I like this story and what they did with this movie. Again, as I talked about in my non-spoiler review for Passenger kind of followed a stereotypical supernatural horror movie trope. It was very predictable for me, which caused it to be bored with me. This movie, though, Obsession, I like the way the plot was with this. I like the story with this. There wasn't a moment in this movie. Some of the pacing in this is slow, and it does have some slow moments, but I was not bored with this. And some of this to me did not feel predictable. It has a couple of your stereotypical, I guess if you want to say tropes again, but I didn't feel I was able to predict a lot of the stuff that went on in this movie. I want to give a big shout, though, to the actress who plays Nikki. If I'm saying her name right, it is Inde Navarrete. I believe I'm saying her name right. She is the highlight of this movie. The way she portrays the character Nikki, it is a lot, and a lot of it is within her tones of her voice and her facial expressions. Just to give you a comparison again. So I wouldn't label Obsession as a supernatural type horror movie. It does give off a little hints, maybe that it could go down that path a little bit, but it is not along the supernatural lines or the tone that is set in Passenger. Having said that, I thought that Obsession was by far way more creepier than Passenger, and a lot of that is portrayed by the actress that plays Nikki, in her facial tones and in her voice tones in this movie. And there's one scene in particular in this movie that I thought was genuinely creepy. And it wasn't creepy in the sense of like the visual gotchas or those kind of, again, those typical scary movie patterns that you have. It was it was creepy by the atmosphere, the lighting, the tone in this scene, and also again the way she carried this character, Nikki, in the scene, and with her voice, she does. My hat's off big time to her in this movie. And she also has a good chemistry. The other main character in this, he plays Bear. His name is Michael Johnston. He does a really good job. And their chemistry with Bear and Nikki are two main characters in this. I had a fun time watching them. And Bear also, the actor that plays Bear, Michael Johnston, he gives a very good performance as well, because you can see as the movie progresses, you really start to, in some ways, you kind of start to feel sorry for him and some of the decisions that he's made, and you can really see, as we go along with this character in the movie, you can really see how I guess you want to say the desperation in this character, especially when we get towards the end of this movie and the choices that he has to make. The other actors in this also support the movie very well. Again, this movie really does a good job, in my opinion, on the tone, atmosphere of this. This again goes to what I've talked about. And what we'll talk about with future horror movies as we get into further episodes, where a good horror movie doesn't always have to be about the monsters and the visual elements of the gotcha scares and the crazy makeup and the effects and all those things. A good horror movie, a creepy horror movie, and you'll find with some of your other movies that are creepy movies, they have very simplistic things. They don't use all of the big gotchas and the visuals. And this movie does that. It doesn't really, again, it hints to it. There's a few times where it may hint to that, of that, I guess if you want to say, the supernatural horror movie element. But this movie does a really good job of making it creepy on its story, on its tone, and the way that the actors, and again, the actress that plays Nikki, the way that she delivers her character in this movie, those elements make this movie, I think, a creepy movie. So that is going to do it for my non-spoiler thoughts on Obsession. And I will say this for Obsession. Would I recommend going to see this in theaters? Do you need to go see this movie in theaters? No. This movie would be a good movie to watch on streaming, and this would be a good movie to watch during that Halloween time of year. However, even though I don't feel you need to go see this in the theater, this movie actually would make a fun date night movie. So I would maybe recommend that as far as going to see in the theaters, but you can wait on this one and enjoy it when it hits streaming. So again, guys, that's all I have for my non-spoiler thoughts on Obsession. Again, what's coming up? I have my full spoiler review on Michael, full spoiler review on Mortal Kombat 2, my discussion with the 35th anniversary of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and then I have my non-spoiler review on the new movie Masters of the Universe that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. As always, you can find me on social media, on Facebook and Instagram at CineJames Movie Talk. And if you like the show, you like the content, hit the like, hit the subscribe on YouTube, tap the bell, tap the follow on Spotify. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, I will see you at the box office.